Hello YouTube. So, what we're looking at today is deciding how far I want to get into a project on this truck. I've had this truck for several years now. Got it in 2016, July of 2016. And noticed I got some rust in the bottom driver's side fender. Truck's been repainted and it's bubbling through from the back. It feels like it's soft back there. I could probably tap on it and punch a hole about yay so big around in it. So I ordered a new fender for that. But I've got some rust bubbles coming in here, so if I'm going to pay to have work done up there, at that point, to do it right, I may as well pay for the paint work to be done and a patch done on this fender. And if we're getting into all of that, we got a spot on the hood, spot on the roof, which that should be like a paintless job. That shouldn't run too much. And a dent on this fender. Now the passenger side is pretty solid. I don't see any rust in it. By the same token, 6 months ago I didn't see any rust in the other side, and it's looking pretty crispy in a couple spots now. And if we've repainted a bedside, two fenders and a hood, that's a lot of the truck to repaint without finishing the paint job off. So we're looking at, what, $1,500, $2,000 probably. Do it halfway decent. But, that's about what Mako charged me to paint a truck. And I'm not happy with that paint job. I'm going to do another review on that one soon. The last review I did, I was pretty happy with it. But warranty's 12 months. We're about 18, 20 months into it. And I guess we're about 18 months into it. And the paint's starting to bubble in a couple spots where they did some welds, put in patch panels, and that's been pretty upsetting to, why new metal they put in, why are we going to have bubbles on that? How do you mess that up? But back to this truck. So we'll say we get a fairly cheap and do just what we need to do, and they can match it good. We're still looking at $1,500, $2,000 for that, just for kind of minimums there. And the truck's only worth about $1,500, $2,000. People try and sell them for more all the time, but realistically, where's the market going to be for a 1996 pickup truck, two-wheel drive, with over 200,000 miles on it? It's a pretty truck. You probably can't appreciate it as much in this video because it hasn't been washed in a while. Been pretty busy with work, but she has a pretty truck cleaned up. But still, it's a 22-year-old truck with over 200,000 miles on it. So I have to be realistic looking at this. Well, I like it, and if somebody looks at it, they might say it's pretty. I get compliments on it. But when it comes to buying it, how much are you going to pay for a truck that old with this many miles? So the next thing to look at is some mechanical stuff on it. She has an oil leak and a water leak. The water leak, I have a new water pump on here, and I got a leak on it when I put it on, so that just needs to be taken back off, sealed up, and put back on. Not the biggest deal in the world, but it's a little bit of a pain in the butt. And the oil leak, I'm not entirely sure, honestly. I don't like saying that, but I'm not totally sure where it's coming from at this point. It's more of a recent kind of issue I've got going on. I know I got a little bit of seepage around the valve covers, and I'd like to put the four-port injectors in this truck. So I'm thinking I'm going to take the intake off, or the upper plenum, and change those injectors as well as the valve cover gaskets. And because some of that stuff has to come off to get down there for the water pump anyway, may as well take it all out in one whack. So that's going to run about another, say, $150, $200, plus several hours of labor to do that. So we'll say 2, 4, 6 to 8 hours if everything goes fairly well, which it's not going to go well. You can pretty much guess that. This EGR, I know this pipe is rusted on here. I've tried to get that off multiple times to diagnose my EGR sensor issues. It's rusted on there. So we know we're going to run into issues, but so, is it worth doing that? I could get a newer truck, but the newer truck is going to still run more than what it would cost to fix this up with what I'm talking about. Now, don't get me wrong, I could still drive this truck around every day. I could do the mechanical and just drive it forever, but I want it to look nice because it does deserve it. It's been a good truck for me, and she is pretty when she's cleaned up. So might as well maintain that. So, but I've also got about probably $5,000 in this truck already. It's got a new, when I say new for here, I'm talking about since I got the truck about 2016, like I said. Seat's been recovered, dash has been recovered. We've got an MSD ignition, we've got a new fuel pump in the back tank. We've got Bluetooth radio in it, and these here fog lights I took forever to find, and then one of them's cracked again. One of them is cracked on me, like right after I got them. But I've always liked the look on those. Finally found some, or finally found where to order them on Amazon. But so I've got new Michelin tires, new drums and shoes in the back, new pads in the front, new hoses. A lot of maintenance has been done on this truck, and a lot of parts. I've put a lot of parts on it. So, like I said, more than the truck's worth is already in it. And you never get what you're putting into a truck out when you sell it. I understand that. The question is it time to, unless you're trying to flip something, but the question is it time to let it slide downhill a little bit? Is it time to sell it now and look for something new? Or do I put some money into it and keep driving it for a few more years? Anyway, and I'm hoping those injectors will improve the mileage on it, because right now she's running about 13 miles to the gallon, which, isn't bad for this truck. You'd expect 14 to 16, I think is the highway city miles on it. But I got another 96 that my grandparents have. I ran on the same kind of commute, and it gets 18. And it's the same setup of truck, other than the fact that one's an XL and this one's an XLT. Same gearing, same motor, same transmission. So I know there's some way I can get more miles out of this truck. I've been trying to figure it out. I ain't got it yet. And I can't see anything modified on that other one, but we're going to work on that. I'm going to try and figure out that mystery too. But anyway, I'd like some thoughts and opinions as far as what y'all think's best to do with this truck from here. Because, she's got a little sentimental value, but it's just kind of tough. Oh yeah, another thing, I'd need to look for a new door panel at some point. Just lost the seal on this one, it's cracked out. And either need to recover the steering wheel, do something with that, because the top part of the leather went away on me. So, anyway, give me some feedback. Appreciate it. And, if I decide to go forward with this, I'm probably going to at least change the injectors and the valve cover gaskets. But we just have to keep going forward with it. We'll make this into a little bit of a series. I'm going to go ahead and call this part 1, whether I do or not. Ideally, this would be going through this winter. It's kind of why I decided to get the fender. I was figuring I'd take it apart this winter, give it a winter pretty much off the road, away from salt, and do some work on it. But, I'm just kind of looking at the reality of it. Just got to decide what I'm going to do. Anyway, y'all have a good day out there. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more.